We should be live. And I want to welcome everyone to King James Bible University. I'm Elder Michael Johnson, and we're going under to where we're doing our precept mastery class on the book of Romans. So I want to thank everybody who has joined us. And then with all the changes on what's going on, I'm thanking you guys for bearing with us, because it's a lot of changes that's knowing and unknowing that's happening. So I want to thank you for just bearing with us on this. So I want to thank you guys. Now, one thing that I do ask you guys to do, if you have questions you want to do, really post them or really want to get to me pretty quickly, the easiest thing to do is to look at the bottom of the YouTube channel. You'll see, not all the way at the bottom, but right below there, you'll see where you can actually click in, come in, it gives you the password and everything, where you can come into the back. And then if you have a question, you can put your hand up. I can actually bring you up to where we can voicefully talk. And that's the quicker way to where we do things. So I want to thank you there. Two, I do know that a lot of the people who registered for the school for King James Bible University, I know they sending out all you guys stuff. But now what we have to remember is one thing. Some people actually put it up and they told me, and actually I thought I was real clear with that. If you didn't put in an email, don't expect to get into the class, because one, they can't even respond back to you. So if you didn't put in your email, don't expect to get an email from them, because that's how you're actually going to get a response from them. Two, do not respond in there twice. Three, have a selected username. If not, they're going to do a username. I don't know if they put a username in there or just generate one for it. I don't know how they do that, but if you have a desired username, put it in there, because it asks you that right up front. And then we also have a lot of new things, because it's easier now to where you can actually go over to KJBU, to where if we have books out or whatever that's going on to which you need the workbook for whatever, it's easier to go there. You can actually even go there to where you can get a lot of other information, which I'm going to be announcing in probably later on within the teaching. And actually, one thing I can announce in the teaching, no, I'll wait till later, because it'll help you. It'll help me out a lot better. But then we need to make sure on everything that we're doing, and a lot of other things that we'll do that's be protected in a protected area, is actually going to be over there. So you have some teaching that be over there that won't be here, but this class is a worldwide class. So this worldwide class based on Romans in the Israelite weekly scripture study, those two will always be in the open. But then if you on the backside of the class and you guys have access to it, go back there, because sometimes it'll be some documents on there to which if I say, well, I'm gonna post this up, I'm not gonna post it anywhere here. And what most people did before, I had to email you. Back there, over on that side, it's really simple. All you have to do is go right to that lesson, and the document is right there, and all you do is download it and you're done. So those are the things for joining over there. Most people, it's not something to which you're going to be paying to join and all this stuff. It's not that. It's a class, but then I know some people who was removed from the MOAD class for particular reasons. And the same thing is, they will still sit there and they will still monitor you, those who actually try to do that, because we hold to what we hold to. And there were certain things before we even went up under them to where we end up letting Precept Mastery to join to them as a whole. It was some agreements that we had to set forward, and those agreements was met, and that's what we're going to hold to as always. But I do want to welcome everyone that's here, because what we're going to be doing a lot of different things in a lot of different ways, to where we're going to dig a lot deeper into these scriptures, to where we can get these understandings to make sure that you guys know exactly what's going on in the Bible. Because once you really know what's in the Bible, it's extremely, extremely to where it said, if it was possible, he would fool the very elect. Mean it's not possible. So this is what we want to look at. And this is where I want you guys. So with a lot of people with these classes, so you're going to see, and we're dealing on a worldwide stage. So with the worldwide stage, we have people who, still going to feel uncomfortable, and they're going to stay on the YouTube side and do that. I'm cool with that too. So don't sit there and think that I'm trying to force you to do that. But if you want to stay on that side, you stay on that side. We're cool with that. And then, but I'm just saying it's just easier on this other side. So then you just post your stuff and we'll do it as normal. It's no problem. But then the ones who want to get to me a little bit easier and they want to, have a conversation, then you just come on the Zoom side. And then you can actually even still post your question. You don't technically still don't have to talk to me, but you can get to me quicker. That's all I was saying. So we have those set up to where you can do it. And then even back there, what we'll be doing, I'm gonna start coming back there on those weekly. When you see me come up on Zoom, you'll see me what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be coming over there early. So if some people have questions about different things or what's going on or whatever, I'll be back there and just doing this normal, like a regular classroom setting. So you can put your hand up because we have it set a certain way. So then you can put your hand up and then I can unmic you or whatever, and we can have just a normal conversation. Or you might just want to talk about, how great the Lakers are, and all other teams suck. If that's what you want to do, that's what you do before class. So if you want to do that, then you do that. If you want to talk about how great the Raiders are and all other teams suck, we can do that too until class. But that's what that is for back there. But then some people might have questions about the Bible, what kind of way I need to study, which way I need to look at this, what we can do all that right back there, right before class. It's just like you walking up to me, talking to me. The same way you need other people involved. We can bring up, 2, 3, we can bring up all, up to 24 people together, and we can all talk together and have that conversation all at one time. So if you want to join back there, it's easy to go back there. And I do see one person that is back here, that is Sister Banks. Yeah, I do personally know because they sent me yours and you did not put in your email. Can you please send me your email to where they can actually have you registered? Because I know they particularly did bring you up, and I do know that you are one of them. So I need to make sure, and I know she's been with me for quite a while, and I need to make sure that she is signed up. And I think also your cousin, I'm not sure, I think she did it also. I think she did the same thing. So I do need that one. And Sister White, I do need you guys' emails to where we can take care of that. So other than that, what we're going to do, we got some work to put in today. We're going to be putting in some serious work, and we got to go through, we got to pick up some stuff, and we got to get through this chapter, and we're going to go through some things, which I know some people might feel uncomfortable because I'm going to require some things of you to make sure we get them done. It's a bottom line deal. We got to get this done, and we got to go through it. So a lot of people who know me and know how we work and what we're going to be doing, we got to put in some serious work today. We're going to put in some serious work this morning, and what we know and what you're going to come out of, you're going to come out with very good knowledge of the Bible. Meaning what? You're going to know exactly what's going on in the Bible. And this is the best way you need to be all the time, because we're not here to play these little games to where we want to go through all these different spills and tell you a lot of different stuff. What we're here to do, we're here to learn. So the same thing is, if you didn't get a chance to get in through the book of Romans, you can still go purchase the book. You can go to KJBU. You can see over there under resources and everything. You can see that book of Romans. You can click on it, go and purchase it, have it to where you can put it in. If you already signed up for the university, you go inside the university, sign up. Once you sign up, you can go into the class for Romans, and you'll see, and you have every video listed out. And you can go through each one, and it'd be in order, and then you can catch up with what we're doing. Or if you want to work at your own pace, you might say, well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna work at my own pace. You can still do the same thing, get the book, and now you can look at each video at your own pace, but then you can still put in all your precepts on what you need to know within the book. That's what you can do. So those are the best things you can do, and it's always going to be listed over there, as well as you can see this calendar, the days that I teach on, what's going on, any special teaching that I might do. You can go over there and see Elder T's, any teachings that he's doing, because he has one coming on the 5th. You can actually see it. You can see it over there. You can also see anything that Elder Jenkins doing, anything that you want to do live. You can see even got a registration form for them to even go through the live one. So everything is actually over there. It's real simplified over there to where, but that's what they always been set up. But now they just set that up another way to where they're actually forefronting me and more so, but then they're making sure as a whole to where we can all learn together. So with that, we got to go to work. We got to put in our work as we normally do. So what we're going to do is go through some things and where we left off. And what I'm going to do there is this. We're going to go and I got to put this up and we got to look at it. We're going to look at this. And then if I do need to move my mug, I will know. And I'm going to move myself if need possible. But basically right now we left off at verse 27. And 27, we're going to dig into some things that I'm just trying to get some of this stuff set up and make sure, because it's going to get serious real quick. And some people is not used to what's going on. So if you need to go back, look at these again and go through it, you're more than welcome. And also you can also go over to where you're going to see me recommending more now, going over to KJBU, to where you guys will be getting all your stuff all the time. So what we got to do, we got to pick up at verse 27. We want to look at this, and we're going to look at some things, to which is some things that some people are going to find very odd and very weird on what they did. And as I said, I can't stand looking at my mug on here. So I'm actually getting ready to take myself off. I don't like doing that. But anyway, so what we're going to do, we got to look at this. We got to look at what's going on here. And I want to stop a certain thing. I don't know why it did this other taping, but I'll take care of that later. Let me see. Let me, because I want to stop something. I want to stop this from doing something. I want to stop that. That's what I want to stop, because that I don't need. So I want to stop that for that reason. Now let me go back, because it was recording that and I didn't need that recorded over here. So let me go back here, and now we want to get all this set up. Now we're looking at verse 27. We want to look at verse 27. We want to understand exactly what's going on, because now we're going to get into a lot of meat and a lot of different things and understanding exactly what is going on. Because in verse 26, we seen what went on, and he said he gave them up to vile affections. And then we looked at the natural use, but now we're going to dig a little bit deeper. We're going to find out some things that's really odd that most people overlook, and we cannot overlook it. When your salvation is on the line, we don't overlook nothing. So it says, and likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned into their lust one towards another. We gotta find out what this is going to be about. And then it says, men with men, that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves the recompense of their error which was met. Now we got to understand what all that means. So we got to look up some words, and we got to put some stuff in there, and we got to know exactly what this is talking about, because it's telling you something that we really know most people don't look at. And what we're going to do, we're not here to play these kind of games. We're here to precept this Bible. And if we're going to precept this Bible, we need to understand what this Bible is saying. So we can't look at what it's saying for 2019. We need to know what it said for back then, because what he said back then, it means the same thing back then, it means the same thing today. We can't sit there and change it. We cannot sit there and change it. Just because you made grits in 1920 and your grandmama made them a certain way and they good, but now today you're gonna sit there and say, no, I can make them this way now and they better. Really? We got to make this thing the same way as it was back then, the same way it is today. So now we got to look at one thing. We got to look at this right here. I want to look at this right here, real particular. Burn in their lust. I want you to highlight that in your workbook. I want you to highlight that in your workbook, because we getting ready to dig into this. We got to dig into this because we want to understand what he's talking about, burn into lust. We want to understand what that means, because if we don't understand what it means, if people look over it, we'll never know what it really was talking about, because now we're going to take it as it was really just words just being used for the conversation. But men leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust. Really? Really? So what we want to do, let's go look at something. We getting ready to go look at Numbers. And we need to look at 31 verse 22. We want to know, we want to look at that. And we want to put in here, we just going to put in burned in lust, or we're going to find out what this actually means. So I want you to put that there. I want you to put this there because we're going to do a lot of digging into this. So we need to go to Numbers chapter 31, verse 22. And we want to see what this is actually saying to where we can understand why is he saying this? Why is he saying it in that manner? What was the whole point behind that? So 31:22, it says in 31:22, let me see, do I have the right verse? I think I might. Actually, want to tell you what, I think I got the wrong verse on there. One second, I got the wrong verse on there. I don't know how I did that. So 1 second. And I can give you the right verse in 1 second. Let me pull this because we need that one there. And I had that one there. And let me see, right here. Give me 1 minute. Where did I put that one? Oh, I see this. Yeah. So, okay. One person who helped me, they helped me with the edits I gave them. They actually put this in the wrong place. But 1 second, let me straighten this out. Give me one moment. This is 1 moment. And I don't know why they did that. And that's, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why they did that. 1 second. I'm just making my corrections and then I will be ready. Let me do this one and one more. Okay. So we have that set. So let's go back and make the correction. And it's verse 23. So let's go back and we got to go to Numbers 31, verse 23. That's the verse we actually want. In 1 second, let me push that back over there. In 31:23 is the verse we want. And yeah, see, and that's why a lot of times I like to kind of do stuff simply myself. It kind of simplifies it sometimes. So it says in 31:23, it says, everything that may abide in fire, ye shall make it go through the fire, and it shall be clean. Nevertheless, it shall be purified with the water of separation. And all that abideth not the fire, ye shall make go through the water. Now, what did this just say? It just said a lot. Why? Because we're going to tear that down to where we can correct what this is saying, because it was saying burned in their lust. So we want to know what this is saying. So we're going to find out what a couple of words mean to understand what Paul is saying. So we're going to look at 23. It says, in the thing that may abide in fire, abide. So what we're going to do here, we're going to do these here. We're going to put abide. And I want you to do that there. Put abide. And what we want to do is understand what abide means. Even though you don't see abide here, we're going to understand what this means. You follow me? We're going to understand what abide means to understand what burned and lust mean. So abide, it means to withstand, to tolerate, or to bear. That's what that means. Now, some people, we might not be able to put all this right here in the book, so we might have to move this around. But because I'm gonna make mine just go smaller, but you might have to move this around because we got to find out what all this means. So we know abide is to withstand, to tolerate, or to bear. Now we want to know another thing. Is what? It says in 23, it says, abide in fire. In fire. What fire does? We just gonna understand what fire does. Fire does what? We just looking at what it does. That's what we just looking at, what it does. So fire proves things. So we see this over here. It said, in everything that may abide in abide the fire. So everything that will abide will stand by the testing of this fire. But we got to look at something else. We want to know what one more thing means. We want to know what one other thing means. We want to know what purified is. Purified. What is purified? Purified is we got to look at what it says. Because what you got to remember is this right here. ED. That's past tense. ED, past tense. Don't let that get past you. So if it's past tense, we have to see what happened. Meaning what? Meaning what? And I just had one tell me I need to just post my notes, but it's easier for me to do it. Actually, that's going too much. So I got to take that out. So let me put purified here. And it's still not too good. But I told you we got a lot. So you might have to put this on another piece of a note part, or you can even put it here. You can even put it here. So don't worry. So that's why I say you can still put it in that work part of the book in there, and you'll see how to do that. So we know purified is to test and see how long, I don't know why I had it there, how long something will tolerate or withstand the purifying process. The purifying process is done how? In the fire. You see that? So this is the purifying process. What is the fire? So we have to look at a couple of things. So with these here and understand what these are here, the reason we had to do that is because they was burned in lust. They was burned in lust. So we had to go and get some information from the law to understand what was being said. So we got to look at some more. We got to look at lust. Lust. Lust is a what? Lust is what? We want to understand everything that's going through. Lust is what? And we got to tie this. We got to tie this to something because that's what they was burned in. So if they was burned in lust, and now lust is having a strong desire or craving, such as thoughts when seeing someone. As an example, lust of the eyes. Lust of the eyes. So how can we get that worked out? Let's look at some examples. Let's look at some examples, and we have to put them in there to look at the example, because this is what part of the problem is. So we're gonna go to 1 John chapter 2, verse 16. 1 John chapter 2, verse 16. 1 John chapter 2, verse 16. Okay, and now it says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh. So we know you can have lust of the flesh. So we're looking at lust of the flesh, and then you have lust of the eyes. So we have to put lust of the flesh also here, and of the eyes. And what? And the pride of life is not of the Father. So if you have these, that's not of God. You can't put them two together because that's not of God. But it is of the world. So those two don't jive. So if you lust of the eyes and you lust of the flesh, that's not of God. That's your own personal thing that you're doing, which coming from Satan. Meaning, so let's look at a better example on what this is saying. Let's say many women, especially Israelite women, because I don't care what anyone say. If I can call myself so lucky and blessed, because I'm gonna tell you, Israelite women is the most beautiful creature you can ever look at. Hands down. Hands down. When you want to look at what we call fine, you go look at an Israelite woman and you'll see it all day long. Hands down. Meaning what? You sit there in the same as I see my wife, the same as many see their wives. You sitting there and we think we got over it. They like some of those scrawny looking people like us. But however you see this, you have some women do this, and they will sit there and dress like a whore. We can't sit there and just say dress unfitting. No, you're dressing like a whore. Meaning, let's look at some of them. You can see women where they're dressed in showing they butt cheeks. Why? Because somebody gonna see that and they're gonna have lust of the eyes. So not only have you having this person the lust of the eyes, you causing this person to sin. You're going to be held accountable for that. You having women who like to wear these big V-cuts shirts. They like to sit there. You have women where they like to have these dresses on now, to where they have these shirts separated. And I don't know how they do it, but they dress is separated in the chest area, and they don't have on no bra or anything, but you can see the entire chest area, and then it just have it just covering the breast. And men is having lust of the eyes. That's lust of the flesh. But now you see men, as he's saying, leaving the natural use of the woman, burn in their lust, one towards another. Are you seeing this is Paul? See, most people think Paul is saying this in a cool type way. Paul is not talking cool, because he got some serious stuff right in this one verse that we're gonna clearly understand what all of it is. So this is part of the problem. This is part of the problem. Burned in lust of the eyes. Seeing these women where they're dressed all kind of ways. Men, they'll sit there and all of a sudden they see men and another man see another man as he would see a woman. That's sick. He want to lay with a man the same way he want to lay with a woman. That's sick. Let's look at another verse to where we have to put this verse in there. We're gonna put in 1 John. We're gonna put in 1 John, and we're gonna put in 2:16. And we got to look at another verse. We have to look at another verse just to know exactly what's going on. So we're gonna go to we're gonna go to Job. Let's go to Job, and we're gonna look at 31 verse 1. Let's go to Job. We're gonna go to 31 verse 1. And let's see something. It says, I made a covenant, excuse me. I made a covenant with my eyes. This is Job. I made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I think upon a maid? This is Job. If you can see the truth, he said, why then should I think upon a maid? This is Job. We have to understand where he's coming from. These are things that we do, and we can't be doing. You sit there and you have these women want to dress certain ways, and men doing it too, and they want to be certain ways, and we have a covenant that we made with our bodies. And your eyes are included in it. So if your eyes is lusting after something you shouldn't be doing, why are you lusting? This is what Paul's saying. You have a men lusting over men. This is how serious this is. But this ain't even, I'm talking about, it's so much in here, we're going to have to end up going to the other page, because it's saying men towards other men, which is unseemly, in receiving themselves that recompense. We have to put that down. I told you, he's saying so much here. We just have to sit there and put it, and then we're going to end up having to put it elsewhere. So we need to know what this stuff is to help us to know what we need to do. Recompense. Recompense. I don't think I can even get all this in there. I'm gonna see if I can get, I'd rather be able to put the verses in there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give you guys a second, because I'm gonna tell you what it is. And then I'm gonna give you time to write this in, to write on your notes or in your book, and then we're gonna get the verses for it. But recompense means an exchange. That's why it's recompense in their error, which was met, or which was meet. But what is it saying? So recompense is an exchange based on what is deserved, good or bad. So I want you to put that in there, if you can write it in your notes, and I'm gonna give you time. I'm not gonna move forward, because I know some people might write a little bit slower, take their notes a little bit slower, that's fine. So you put in there for recompense, in exchange based on what is deserved, good or bad. You can put good or bad in parentheses if you like. Good or bad. That's what that is. Recompense. Not according to what they want to say in a dictionary that you see today. We want to know what they're saying back then to where we get to understand what God is saying. That's what we're doing. We're not trying to look at, well, my dictionary, I can care less what your dictionary say. So we're going to look at this. And we're going to go, let's look at this and understand it. Hopefully everybody got it written down. So now we're going to go to Numbers and we're going to look at some of these. Let's go to Numbers chapter 5. Numbers chapter 5, and we're going to look at this one right here. So I'm going to put up there right now. We're going to put in Numbers chapter 5. We're going to go to Numbers chapter 5, 7 through 8. And you see I had to put that separated there because we got some more to do. It says, then they shall confess their sins, which have done, and he shall recompense his trespass with the principal thereof, and add unto the fifth part thereof, and give it unto him against whom thou hast trespassed. So let's look at this. We're going to look at, and then they shall confess their sin which they have done, and shall exchange his trespass with the principal thereof. Did you see that? Good or bad? It doesn't matter. Good or bad. You have to recompense that. You have to exchange that. Deserved or not deserved. Deserved or not deserved. But you have to recompense that. So they receiving themselves that recompense of their error. But recompense is what it's talking about. That exchange. Let's look at a better one. Let's look at even a better one and get some better understanding. 2 and 12. 2 and 12. Ruth 2 and 12. We got to look at this. It says, the Lord recompense thy work, and a full reward be given thee of Yahweh, God of Israel, under whose wing thou art come to trust. So the Lord exchanged thy work, and a full reward is given thee of the Lord God of Israel. Are you following me? But you see how most people look over that word. Most people just look right over it. But we have to understand what if we understand what everything is saying, now we know what he's saying when he's talking anyway. But if we would have knew the front of the book, we would have understood when it got back here. But they teach us not to go to the front of the book to get the understanding. They always teach you to go to the back. Why? Because they don't understand the front. We have more to do. I told you we had a lot of work to do today. We got to go to Sirach. We got to go to Sirach 36 and verse 20. 36 and verse 20. And we have to see what it says. We have to see what it says. 36 and verse 20. It says, in forward heart causes heaviness, but a man experience will recompense him. Forward heart causes heaviness, but a man of experience, good or bad, will exchange it. Good or bad. We want to look at something. We're going to look at something here, and you're going to see where Yahushua recompensed himself. We're going to go to Hebrews 10 and verse 9. We want to look at that. 10 and 9. Why? Because we want to see how he exchanged it. So let's go to Hebrews chapter 10, verse 9. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 9. It says, then said he, who, Yahushua, lo, who, Yahushua, come to do thy will. You can even remove those and put your name there. And it says, oh God, he taketh away the first, that he may establish the second. He recompensed the first. He exchanged it, that he may establish the second. He taketh, he recompense, he taketh, he recompense the first. He exchanged it. What did he exchange? Of us giving us these dang animals. So you exchanging and recompensing yourself, exchanging. And so what they have did, they have exchanged women for men. They exchanged women for men. And then you have the main one, and it says what? In their error, which was meat. Meaning what? Meaning what? Meat. That means join. That's all that means. Join. We want to see an example? Join. Let's look at an example. Example say, I will meet you at the train station. I will join you at the train station. Meet. Which was in error. Which was in error. So now when you look at this again, you look at this verse, now you know what the verse is actually saying. Why? You had the precepts to clarify everything that you're saying, because when it's saying lust, he's saying a big word, and even though it's only 4 letters, but he's talking about something they burned in this. They was burned in this lust. How? They so tied up in lust, they left the natural use of a woman and turned towards other men. And they abide, they withstand, they tolerate to bear it, testing and proving it, being purified in this lust. And they tell you now, well, I was born that way. Well, God made me this way. No, you're lying. So, well, your God might have made you that way, but I know my God don't do that. So before we move down to verse 28, we need to see, I've seen a couple of people had their hands up, and I want to see, do they have any questions? Any questions? So anyone in the back, you have any questions, please put your hand up. I thought I seen one, and I see you took it down. But do we have any questions on YouTube, or do we have any in the back? And let's see, and we got Jonathan Hayes. Okay, Brother Jonathan, you can unmic. Yeah, my brother.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question. Is that, you see, when you lust for something, is that a continuous thought?
Yeah, when you said when you lust for something, it can be a continuous thought.
Is it a continuous thought, or is it one-off, or what? How is lust defined?
Yeah, lust is more defined to where, yeah, you can have a continuous thought of doing something. It don't even have to be towards people, but you want it. You want it. It's good, and it's good to you, not necessarily good to God. So, because lust in your desire should be to him and not to lust towards him to achieve what you can get out of it. So let's look at a better example. Let's say you lust to be in the kingdom. You lusting only to be in the kingdom. So what you do is you only going to do just the commandments to get into the kingdom, but you only lusted for that. Your desire is not for that. Your desire is you just don't want to die. You know the flesh is going to die, but you don't want your spirit to die. So you're lusting for that, because once you figure you get in the kingdom, you good. Can't nobody take you out. That's why he looks on the heart. Same as you take a woman. You see a woman where he dressed a certain way, and you'll sit there and you'll see her, and you'll sit there like, boy, they come up, man, boy, I know you should be tired because you've been running all day through my head. They'll sit there, and then when you go home, that same image that you have burned into your mind is now still on this same woman, and you actually committing the acts of what you want to do to this woman.
Thanks. Nice one.
Yeah, that's lusting.
Okay.
And it don't stop, and it keep going, and you can be in doing anything, and that'll come up.
All right, thanks, man.
No, you're more than welcome. More than welcome. Okay, Ian, do we have any other questions? Oh, we might have one question that is in the room. So it says, so what if your son is gay? What do you do? It's not what do you do, it's what do he need to do? So the thing is, in gay is not what he's a homosexual. Gay don't mean gay in the Bible. So gay means they just like to wear flamboyant clothes. That's what gay actually means. So, but the thing is, if he is a homosexual, the thing is what you can show him. One, it's impossible for him to sit there and say that God did that, because he didn't. Two, it's impossible for him to sit there to say that he was born that way and that's how he always thought. No, because those are lustful thoughts of being with other men. What do that mean? The Most High is not going to change. He stays that way. He got a place for it. He got a place for him. So if he's that way, and the same thing, for example, many people sit there and say, well, I have a gay son or a gay daughter, which is still, just as I said, it's not gay. You got a homosexual son or a homosexual daughter. Now, if they say, well, we're going to get married, we want you to support it, or I want you to walk me down the aisle, and then he being the daddy. You walking down the aisle, one, you're supporting it. Two, you go to it, you're still supporting it. Same as example, I have 3 kids. Let's say one was gay, not gay, but let's say one was gay. And they say, well, what you gonna do? Say, one, you're not gay, you're homosexual. 2, you're more than welcome to come to the house at any time. Your partner is not. That's blunt, straightforward. Well, if my partner can't come, then I won't come also. I understand that, and I agree with you, and I would abide by it. So either we come in or we both don't come. Okay, as I just told you, you are always welcome, always, by yourself. Whoever that you want to call that is, they're not welcome. So if you feel you can't come here, don't come. Because they're not coming. Because they're not even coming in my house. Why? Because that's where you sit there. Now you're going to tolerate it. You tolerate that. Why? Just to see the child. So you're going to put up with it. You're going to, for me to see my child, I got to be cool with this. Really? Why are you doing it? It makes no sense. They doing it, you cut it. It's a zero-sum game. You don't sit there, and it's the same thing as everybody's trying to get everybody to go to heaven. 12 gates, but everybody going to heaven. We'll just say that's the case. So now Israel had to hold on to some laws, because this is what they teach. Israel had to hold on to some laws, but we don't. We're grafted in. We grafted in. So since we're grafted in, we're under grace. We don't have to do what you do because we're under grace. So same as I told another person, we went through the same scenario I give to you guys. So let's say Israel, have to hold on to the law. So they don't. So let's take it to a dog. Now, this person didn't even want to accept this, but we're going to take it to a dog. So let's do this example. So now you have a dog in your house who, when you want to use the restroom, poop, when anything, when you want to poop, he goes scratch on the door, you let him out. He goes out, poop, come back, you let him in. You want to urinate, goes out, urinate, comes back in. He knows not to get up on the couch. He knows he got this back porch where you got this stuff laid out for him. He goes to sleep. He knows his bowl of water is right there in that certain location. He knows not to jump up on your bed or to lay in your bed. All these things he knows. That's the law in your house. Now, you take in another dog. You get this one dog. Now this dog coming to the house, you get up, you get ready to go to the bathroom, 2:00 in the morning, you put your feet on the ground, you step in a bunch of poop. You try to train him, poop still everywhere. You come home, he in your bed. Not only in your bed, he done urinated in your bed. Now you're doing everything else, no matter what. Every time you try to sit there and try to train him, no matter what, he poops in your bed, he poops on the ground, he urinates all over the place. And then what's better yet, some people have carpet, he done urinated all over your carpet. And then it got into the matting. So now your house, when people come in your house, it smell like urine. Now you got to do all this. But the main thing is, are you going to still just install grace on the dog when he first started doing it or not? Because he's under grace. He's not abided by the laws of what that other dog have to do. Because that other dog do it, you're going to put him out. But you're going to keep him in because this one you train, but this one then came in and he's under grace. So he don't have to do what this one does. So when you go walk the dogs and the dog go poop and the dog go urinate, this dog don't do it. He wait till he get back to the house and then he do it in your house. So you tell me, is the Most High going to let them come in this house that way? No, you're in the wilderness for a reason. You're in the wilderness to learn. So when you get in the house, you know how to act. But they saying they're under grace. And they pooping and doing everything as if they be in the house. They're going to do the same thing. This is the theology that they teach. So Israel had to hold to the laws. We don't. We can poop all over the house. Technically what they say. But just show you the stupidity. In Body 1951. Yeah, you can unmic. Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. It came up that way. My name didn't pop up?
No, I see Body 1951.
Oh, that's all right. Elder, what about sodomites, homosexuals? Don't they bring evil spirits with them into your home?
Yeah, all that comes right along with them. That evil, you think the evil spirit is not going to sit outside. It's in them. So when they bring it in, it's coming in with them.
So it's not wrong not to want them in your home then, even if they're relative.
I don't care who they are. Let me do it again. We're going to say this same thing again. Even if my son, I got one son named right after me, and I got two sons, one daughter. Now, if they're homosexuals or whatever they're doing, and they say, "We're gonna tell you what, my partner coming to your house." Okay, I don't know what house they coming to because they ain't coming to my house. And my partner can't come, I ain't coming. Okay. But now let's say they're gonna come and they're gonna sit there and they want to act with however they want to act. Okay, cool, but you can't come to my house. Well, I can come to your house. No, you can't. You ain't coming to my house. Why? Because one, you want to come and you want to disobey the house and you want to do everything because you feel you can do it just because you're relatives. So don't come to the house. And I have people like that right now that are relatives and cannot come to my house. And that's the way I can't come to your house. You can't come to my house. You ain't never seen me come to your house anyway. So that's what happens. But yeah, they bring those spirits with them. And I see we don't have no questions on the YouTube side. I'm just double checking to make sure. No, I don't see any over here. So let's kick in, and we don't have no more questions on the backside. So let's move forward. Oh, wait a minute. I have one more question that popped up. Yeah. Okay. Like what that is. What we doing? The question being asked, but we're not trying to make this out of a conversation piece. So, and that's what that question that you posted in here is. I'm not going to even name it, but you posting the question like we're going to have a conversation, and we're here to learn the scriptures, not sit here to have a conversation piece on something. So we're here strictly to learn. So that's why we got to keep this. So yeah. So if it's a conversation to where we're trying to drum up conversation, no, I can't do that. We here to stay right to the scriptures. So let's pull back up and do this here and drop into 28. And we got to look at that. So now let's look at that. We had no other questions based on that. So now we're going to look at this and we're going to go through it. And we see what happened here. There's a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of stuff going on here. But now we have to understand what went on. What went on? Verse 28. It says, and even as they did not like to retain God, understand what he is saying, retain God in their knowledge. In their knowledge. That's how you retain God. We actually taught on this yesterday. God is knowledge. So when you have, they didn't want to retain this, so God gave them over to reprobate mind. To a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. Retain knowledge of God, being purifying themselves with the knowledge of self-lust is what they was doing. They was using the knowledge of self-lust. So we need to look up a couple of words. Let's check reprobate. We need to look at reprobate, and first let's highlight reprobate and understand what reprobate is. So reprobate. Uh-oh, thought I typed it in. Why is reprobate? What do that mean? Unfit. Once I had to move my thing over. Is unfit, refused, refuse, or disqualified. And there's some more I can put in there. I can give you the rest of what I can also show you, but I'm trying to save it to put some other stuff in there. That's what I'm trying to do. So you can put in disqualified and rejected knowledge for the kingdom of God. You can also put that there. And rejected knowledge for the kingdom of God. See, and if I put that in there, I think might be a little bit too much because I want to tie some some other stuff to it. Well, I tell you what, I still put it in there to where you have it. And why? Because they was trying to mix, they was trying to mix the lie with the truth. That will have a reprobate mind. Meaning what? Mixing truth and a lie. That's reprobate. We got to look at an example of this. So everything we see right there is rejected. He has to reject them. He has to reject them. That's why he had to give them over. Why? Because the reprobate mind was unfit, refused. Actually got a period there. It should be a comma. Refused, dross, or disqualified. Dross is just telling you it's not pure. Or rejected in knowledge of the kingdom of God. That's what we were just talking about. Actually, when we were just talking about that dang dog. Talking about the same identical thing. So how do we know this? Let's look at an example. Dross. Same thing like I said. It's refused. It's not going to be accepted. So we're going to go to Isaiah 122. Let's go to Isaiah 122 and get that understanding on what it's saying. So in 122, it says, thy silver is become dross, thy wine mixed with water. It's mixed. You're trying to mix something with something else. You're trying to mix the word of God with the word of a man, which is both. It makes no sense because the word of God is true and count every man as a liar. So why are we trying to mix this? Why are we going to try to mix it? It makes no sense. So we can't mix dross with something else. We can't take what is good and make it fit. That's what this reprobate. That's why he's saying reprobate. But people are sitting there thinking he's not saying nothing. He's talking harsh the entire time. Paul is not talking in a nice way. But people will tell you, and people read this as if he's talking nice and he's begging you to do something. And he's using these words, and why? Because they made these words so soft in the dictionaries today that people doing, no. Reprobate is unfit for the kingdom. Reprobate is refused for the kingdom. Reprobate is dross, is mixed. It's disqualified. Dross is rejected. Why? Because you reject the knowledge of the kingdom of God on how to get in there. Let's look at another one. Rejected. Rejected. How can we get this? How can we get this? We're going to look at something, Jeremiah. And we're going to go to 6:30 to get the understanding what this reprobate is talking about. We have to understand. Okay, now we're going to find out more. Reprobate silver shall men call them. Rejected. And actually, he even tells you that because the Lord had rejected them. He's telling you the same thing. Jeremiah. You have dross in you. What? People going to come and believe they have a mix because, well, he said, forsake not assembling of yourselves. And you're going to hold to that. You're going in with a mixing the truth with a lie and you have dross in you, it's rejected. Let's look at something. Purifying yourselves. Purifying yourselves. Let me take this one. Purifying yourselves. Actually, I'm going to take this and I want to put it in this way. That's why I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to actually post my note. Purifying yourselves in the fire will not make it with this knowledge. Purifying yourselves with that knowledge, you will not make it. We need to understand that reprobate is so serious, people not understand. But now we together are seeing this is very serious. So how can we find out? Let's go to Ezekiel 22, verse 19 and 20. Ezekiel. Why? With this reprobate mind, all these things is in there. These are the ingredients of reprobate. These are the ingredients. So let's look at this in Ezekiel. It says, therefore saith Yahweh God, because ye are become dross, mixed. Behold, therefore I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem as they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace to blow the fire upon it, to melt it. So I will gather you in my anger. He's telling you right here, and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. I don't, he's so blunt, it's unreal. And we take him as a joke. We take him as a joke. So that's why I said, I sit there and say, and people, they say, well, man, I can hear you, Pat. But sometimes, I try to really get people to really understand what's happening. So sometimes it comes out of irritation, it comes out of many different things, but I just want you to know the truth. I just want you really just to know what the truth is. And he did this in a worldwide warning. He did this with, let's do this. I want you to put this here. We just put worldwide. I just gonna put a thing right here. I'm gonna do worldwide, actually, www. Why? That's a worldwide warning. Some people might write it in, and some people just put that in there. www. Worldwide warning. We're gonna go to Genesis 6, 5 through 7. Worldwide warning. Let's go there and we're going to look at it. Because we become dross. And we're going to look at something and see what happened. And why this is I'm talking about, he talks so plain, it takes a time to where we have to learn again. Because we've been lied to for so many years. So let's look at Genesis 6 and 5. It says, and Yahweh saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thought of his heart was only evil continually. Why? Why? I'm going to show you. No, don't drop down to verse 6. We're going to find out why. Let's see why. Let's go to chapter 6, verse 1. We're going to find out why he said this. It says, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God Those are men, which you can even put down a note, and you can use Genesis 4:26, and it'll tell you who they are. They begin to call upon themselves the son, call upon the name of the Lord. They begin to call themselves the sons of God. That's where that is. Actually, let's go there real quick to prove the points, because we don't have some people would say, oh no, we don't say. Let's go to Genesis 4:26 and get that, and then we come back. So it says in Genesis 4:26, it says, into Seth, to him also there was born a son, in his name, and he called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. Then they began to call themselves the sons of God. That's where that happened. So just in case somebody tell you that, you can take them right there, clear it all out, tell them go suck on a hot egg. So let's get back to Genesis 6:1, and we go. So they began to multiply, and they had daughters. And then it said the sons of God saw that the daughters of men. So it's telling you two different types of people. The sons of God saw that the daughters of men that was fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. Now, this was the problem. They took them wives, and they already knew what the problem. It's telling you the sons of God. So if these men they already knew what the law was, and they weren't supposed to do this. So we're going to see how the Most High sees this. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not strive with man. Strive don't mean just rolling along with man, it mean fight. He's not going to fight with men. He's not going to fight with flesh. He would not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. So it gets down into verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that. So first it's talking about giants, which it ain't talking about no dang fallen angels, which those silly people like to talk about. It's not even bringing that up. That's silliness. But it said there were giants in the earth in those days, semicolon. Now the conversation goes on to another point. And also after that. Now, after that, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, comma, now going to give you more clarification, and they bear children unto them, comma, going to give you more clarification, that same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. They became famous men. That's the clarification on this here. So in verse 5, it says, and God saw the wickedness was of man was great in earth, in that every imagination and thought of his heart was only evil continually. Now we know why. Why? Because this is what they were doing. He told you what not to do. We have men out there talking about, well, man, I'm married to a Gentile woman. I love her. I said, okay, God said you don't do it, but you did it. But you're cool with it. Okay, let's see how the Most High feel about this. And it repented the Lord, and now they're going to tell you about something that is a bigger boldface. Well, he changed, and they don't want to sit there, but they'll tell you to repent. Well, you need to say you're sorry. No, that ain't what that actually means. They're telling you we have to get away from what they try. That's why I say dictionaries, commentaries, concordances, all that stuff will keep you in a false doctrine. It will keep you in a false doctrine. In 1 second, in any more posting of scriptures, we will actually have you removed. We don't need anyone posting any scriptures. So again, if you're going into these other things in these other books, you will come up with mixed doctrines. Plain and simple. So let's look at this. He says right here, and it repented the Lord. So it reminded the Lord, meaning reminded him of what? That he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him to his heart. So it angered him to his heart. That's all it said. So if it reminded the Lord that he made man upon the earth, and it angered him to his heart, why? Because verse 7 going to explain what he said he's going to do. And Yahweh said, I will destroy man whom I created. So you know he wasn't feeling sorry. You know he wasn't feeling bad. You know he wasn't. He's angered because he said, I would destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man, beast, and creeping things, and fowls of the air, for it reminded me that I have made them. That's the clarification. So this is a worldwide warning. That's why it's www. This is a worldwide warning. Worldwide warning. For what we don't need to be doing. But did we adhere to it? Did we adhere to it? No, we didn't adhere to it because we still do it. So for God's divine foreknowledge, we need to understand what's going on. For his divine foreknowledge, we need what? We need Deuteronomy. And we're gonna see some things here. Deuteronomy. We're gonna go to 28. And then we're not gonna read all the verses from 15 through 67. You just put that there. You just put that there. From 15, because from, oh, wait one second. From God's divine foreknowledge, from Deuteronomy, from 15 to 67. From 15 to 67. Why? He gave them over to a reprobate mind. On this alone, they will refuse, dross, disqualified, rejected for the knowledge of the kingdom of God. Why? He gave you a warning, and through his divine foreknowledge, we violated all this right through here, purifying ourselves in the fire that won't make it. Why? How is all this connected? Look at here, right up here. Look at some of the stuff we did. We abided and withstand to tolerate and thinking he's going to tolerate something, testing and proving. Well, let me see how far I can stretch this rope. This is all tied in. This is all tied in. So we exchanging things that wasn't good. We don't supposed to be doing that. So why we do these things, which gets us in more trouble. Why? He tell you, he gave us up for vile affections. He rejected us. This is all Paul been talking about. But people will sit there and make you think Paul is talking just as beautiful to us as possible. Paul is sitting there literally begging you like you are standing on a bridge, getting ready to jump off 4 miles down into a stone wall. This is what's going on. This is what is happening. Now, do we have any questions on anyone? So let's let me check before we go down to the next verse. And I want to see, do we have any questions? And in that brother who had that name up there, yeah, don't post no verses or anything because this is not for you to teach in the comment section. So we don't do that. So the main thing is, if that's what you want to do, same thing, if you're doing that, I think you omitted the book after the draws prior to chapter and verse. Okay, so again, and I think you omitted the book after you omitted what book? Let me see. I don't see what you're saying. So I don't see what you're saying after verse 122. Let me go down to verse 122. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So 122, that's what you're saying. 122, and actually I need Isaiah. That's what you said. So got it. Appreciate it, Brother Aaron. So got that down there. So so that's Isaiah 122 is what the one you want. I was trying to sit there and see what you were saying, but I see you just saying verse 122, but that's the verse right there. So the draw says that one. But the main thing is, Sister Brenda, I do appreciate that. You don't know how much I do. So everybody good so far? No questions so far? So I'd like to make sure that everybody is good so far, because now we're getting ready to go into verse 29, and we got to see some of what he's actually talking about. We got to see what he's talking about. Everybody, oh yeah, no problem. Oh, no problem, brother, no problem. Yeah, and what we want to do is understand what is going on so far, because many people really believe Paul is like begging us. Please, Paul is not doing that. Paul, I'm talking about, it's like you on a wall and you getting ready to jump down to your death, and that's it. And we don't want that. So I'm trying to check and trying to see. We don't see anybody so far. So everybody's good. So let's push forward. Let's move forward and try to give everybody while I'm getting set up. And let's move on. And we're going to get this. We got to get this in there. So we're looking at what's going on. It said, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers. I'm talking about, this is unreal. This is unreal. This is what, all based on what we do. We have this dross that's mixed in us, and this is what happens. Why? Because this is his foreknowledge on what he talked about. So he's sitting there telling you what we're being filled with. Filled with is what? So what we're going to do is look at I was going to do this other. Let me do. I don't know why I'm thinking I can do it this other way. Filled with unrighteousness. Filled with unrighteousness. We're going to look at some of this, how this happened. We're going to look at some of it, how it happened. We're going to look at some of this, how it happened. And this is, I'm talking about, it's clear, and just clear in scripture. So let's look at some of these. Let's look at just a few of them and why you have to understand what's going on. And this is here where people want to understand what Paul is talking about. So he's saying being filled with all unrighteousness. So we're going to put in here and just start right here. Just start right there. People don't even want to start there. Why? Because they'll sit there like, oh no, it's like looking in a mirror. Oh, I don't want to see that. I want to see everything good, and I don't want to see nothing on what I did. So we got to face the fact, because it's up to us to get us on the right track for our future. And if we don't get it correct, what do you think you leave an inheritance to the children? What do you think you leaving them? You have them in worse position. You have them in a way worse position. So let's look at this. Deuteronomy 28:15, it says, and it should come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statute, which I command thee this day, all these curses come upon you, overtake thee. So, as I said, he gave us a warning. And with his foreknowledge, he's telling you what's going to happen. What's going to happen. And I'm just going to show you a few of them. So you tell me and try to get me to understand. He warned us. He's told you what's going, same as many of us as parents. Many of us are parents and we do things. and you have your child, and you warn your child, if you do this, I'm gonna tear your butt up. I'm gonna open up a can of get right on you. And as soon as they do it, what do? Most of them, if you up front, you're gonna open up that can of get right. Don't have no problem doing it. What do you think the Most High is doing? He warning us, and then we still do it. With the foreknowledge, this is what Paul's talking about. So let's look at some of this. Let's go down. We in Deuteronomy 28. Let's look at some of what he's warned us on what he said will happen. Deuteronomy 28, and let's look at verse 26. It says, and all thy carcasses shall be meat unto the fowls of the air, unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. You tell me that don't happen today. That's spiritual as well as carnal. No man shall fray them away. You shall be meat for the fowls of the air. You should be meat. And unto the beasts of the earth. And unto them. But he ain't even done yet. Let's look at verse 27. Let's see, is this being fulfilled? And the Lord will smite thee with the blotch of Egypt, and the hemorrhoids, and with the scab, and with the itch whereof thy canst not be healed. Eczema. All these, I know a lot of brothers out there, a lot of sisters have it. But he ain't even done yet. These are simple ones. And let's look at verse 29. It says, and thou shalt grope at noonday. You should grope at noonday. Do we even know what grope means? To have this uncertainty of what you're searching for. At noonday, you're uncertain on what you're doing. You grope. You see, they're gonna tell you grope gonna mean something according to their dictionary, but groping means you uncertain on what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. At noonday, as the blind grope in darkness. That's what it's talking about. You don't even know what you're doing. And it's light outside. You don't even know which way to go. As thou shalt not prosper in the way that thou shall be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man should save thee. No man. Martin Luther King can't save you. Telling people to march, and he's sitting there and he's in bed with Margaret Singer. This is the problem we have today. Because we look up on a man and he got on the side of his stone out of a mountain of despair, telling you out of the absence of God, he comes out, a stone of hope. He's talking about himself. And people sitting there talking about how great this man is. This man was a fool. He was a fool. Telling us not even to have children. If you're uneducated, don't even have children. Noonday, groping. And then his family tried to sit there and tell you he was deceived. Yeah, he was deceived. He went all the way to the bank with it. Look at verse 30. This is one of the worst ones. It says, and thou shalt brothel a wife, and another man shall lie with her. You tell me when we was in captivity as a slave. If that slave man looked upon her and wanted to lie with her, he will tell you, not get your, Hey, or they open the door. Hey, tell her to come on. And if she's not good and she act like she don't like it, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna beat you. It's all day long. Did he forewarn us? It's right there in the word. It's clear as day. He forewarned us of this. Not when we was over here, when we was in Jerusalem. They had this since Moses. They can look at it. So don't sit there and say, well, they didn't know it back then. Moses gave it to them back then. So we can't sit there and say we didn't have it, because we did. And thou shalt plant, where it says, thou shalt build a house and shall not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard and shall not gather the grapes thereof. Look at verse 31. Thy ox shall be slain before thy eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thy ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. And thy sheep shall be given unto thy enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. Are you serious? And we not being warned? We was not warned of this? It's telling you right here. We love to use this verse, but don't want to look at that it was a warning to us on what was going to happen to us, and we still did it. And many of us still do it today. Let's look at one more. It says, the Lord shall bring thee, in verse 36, the Lord shall bring thee and thy king which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. Many of them marry on the day. There shall thou serve other gods. And we do that today. The foreknowledge of God. The foreknowledge of God. So I'm going to put these verses here, but you can go all through here. You can go all through it. And you can sit there and see it. And but you can read all of Deuteronomy 28. You can understand this foreknowledge on what he had. Because what is all this? Fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy. All is engulfed right there in Deuteronomy 28. All of it. Every bit of it. And what we like to do is we don't like to look at what we do. Why? Why? Why is this? Because we feel we better than that. So he clearly made this clear right here in verse 30. Backbiters. What is a backbiter? Backbiters. Paul is telling you this is what we are. Backbiters. Oh, shoot. I thought I... What is a backbiter? What is a backbiter? We need to understand what backbiters mean. Because that's what we are. This is what we are. And he clarifies it right there. Backbiter, one who slanders God, speaks ill of the absent of God, covenant breakers. That's what we do. This is literally what we do. Why? Because backbiters, now you're going to clarify this for you. Haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventor of evil things, disobedient to parents. You're a backbiter. It's clear as day. It's clear as day. And we have to understand when we get into these ways, he's not playing with us. He's not playing with us whatsoever. So Paul making these statements for us to do some serious things. So what do all this have to do with this backbiter? Let's go down there to verse 31 and see and make one thing clear. Make one thing clear. It says, without understanding, covenant breakers. That's that backbiter. The backbiter. You see, Paul connects everything. Paul connects everything. Without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural afflictions, impeaceable and unmerciful. Why did most people look over this word and I highlighted it? For all of us to know what this actually means. But we need to put this in there, because we need to know what that means. We need to know what this means to know how to deal with it. Because Paul tells you about this. So what is it? Inexorable, stubborn, or constant in enmity with God. Why? You're a backbiter. You can sit there and say, God need to do this, God do this, or God do this for him, God do this, God do this. Something happened, and the first thing, once you do it, you'll go back on your word. Why? Because you're a covenant breaker. You can be in a worse position and say, Lord, if you just get me out of this, Lord, please, I would never do this. And as soon as something happened good, you go right back to what you was doing. Why? You're a backbiter. Deceit. He's testing you to see what you'll do. So with all this in clear, we have to understand he's telling you this. He's telling you this, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things, look at Paul, are worthy of death. You worthy of being killed. Not this first one, the second one. The first one is of the flesh. The second one is of the spirit. And Paul is telling you, you're going to be worthy of death because of what? This is what you're about. We got to get out of this business. We're in the wrong business. We're in the sin business doing this. We have to get out of that business. Why? He said, who knowing the judgment of God. You know this. Why? Because he already told it to you. How do we know this? Go back to Deuteronomy 28:15. See, Paul saying this, showing you we can't get away from it. Why? Because Paul speaks only law. So if he's saying, who knowing the judgment of God, how? Deuteronomy 28:15. And move down from there. You can go all the way to 68. We can't get around it because you know the judgment. We know these things. So if we know them, why do we perform them? Because he's telling you clearly right here, knowing the judgment. Let's do this here. Judgment. And let's do these here. Let's highlight these. Are worthy of death. Not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. So we like doing this stuff up here and being a backbiter. We ain't holding to our word. So knowing that the judgment of God are worthy of death. How? Hebrews 10:26. Let's go read it. Let's go read it and see, are we going to be worthy of death? This is Paul talking. It says right here in Hebrews 10:26. For if we sin willfully after we have received knowledge of the truth, did not he tell you this in Deuteronomy? You can't say he didn't because it's in the front of the book. So we can't say we received knowledge of a lie because we received the knowledge of truth. Where did you receive it? Oh, I'm telling you right up here. We being filled with this, and we backbiters. We backbiters. And we know the judgment of God. We know this. So if we know it, why? It's the same thing. If your mom or your dad told you not to do something and it was punishment behind it, why do it? And we know the punishment is there. Hebrews 10:26. If we sin willfully after we receive knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more but to be whooped. There remaineth no more sacrifice for sin. That's it. One thing here. And we need to understand that. We need to understand this part right here that he have this clear. So we have to do something. And let me do this. I didn't want this there. And I wanted this in here. Let me see. Oh, shoots. I might have to do this another way. 1 second. I can probably do it this way. Yep, I can. So what we're going to do is this here. This actually works out even better. So what we got to do, and the ones, I want you to do this on this page. I want you to put, we want to do an overview. Why? We want to do an overview because we got to come back and we got to look at this, and we got to come back and look at some things in here on what need to happen. So, overview. What is this overview? We got to do an overview and look at some of the key elements on what Paul was actually speaking of. So some of them on what this is part of your studies, what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be looking for everybody who is part of the class. I'm going to be looking for this from you and looking and hoping that you actually participate, because under participation actually helps you not to understand the word of God. Even if you don't participate, but you still do the work that I'm showing you, shows to where you can actually learn and educate on what you're learning. But if you're just sitting here just watching, you're doing no different than a Christian. Just sitting there just looking, oh yeah, this is good. No, you got to put in work. So we got to look at the overview. What are some of the things we need to look at? We need to look at these. Faith. Faith of God call. That's one thing we need to look at. 2, we got to look at the message on what Paul did here in chapter 1. We have to look at that message. 3, in unrighteousness. Understand what that means. 4, we have to look at more things. Unqualified and this. So these actually have two different meanings. You have one that's disqualified, but then you have one that's unqualified. Unqualified mean that you're not making the requirements necessary on what you need to do. And all you have to do, you can easily change this. Because if you know why you're not qualified and they tell you go back, as he told a woman, what did Yahushua say? He said, where's the man that wanted to condemn? She said, I don't see. He said, neither I condemn you either. I don't condemn you either. He said, but go. Because right now you're not qualified. But sin no more to be qualified. He didn't disqualify her, saying, okay, you go and you that's it. It's a wrap. No, she was just unqualified in the truth. And she became qualified. So let's look at verse 5. And now we're going to look at foolishness. Foolishness. We want to understand what these mean. These are overviews on what we need to be looking at when we go back and review this to where we're going to come back and we're going to end up putting this in the preceptors. So that's what we got to look at. Discern. We got to look at discern. Discern clearly for grace. Then we have 7. What we need here? What we need here? Power of obedience. Now, we want to also look at some of Paul's quotes. This is why I always say Paul speaks law. Paul speaks law all the time. Meaning what? If Paul speaks law all the time, Paul going to be pulling it from the law. So we need some of Paul's quotes. Well, let me take this out. Paul quotes. From the law. We're going to look at a few of them. Let's go to Romans. And I'm going to do these in mixed order for a reason. Romans 1:27. What is this blending with? What is that blending with where Paul poured that from? So let's look at this together. Let's look at it together. And we're going to see where Paul poured this from. Now, we're going to go to Romans 1:27. I want everybody to open up your books. And we got to look at Romans 1:27. And then make sure if you're just using your precept, your study book, I need you to also have your Bible. We always got to make sure you have to have that sword with you. So we're looking at Romans 1:27. It says, and likewise, also men leaving the natural use of the woman, burn in their lust one towards another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves the recompense in their error, which was meat. Now you know what that was actually saying. But where did Paul get this? Where did Paul get that information from? That's the key. Where did Paul get that information from? We want to know where did Paul get that from? And actually, I want to do this real quick. I don't know if that'll go away. I don't want it to go away. Oh no, it don't go away. Okay. So where did Paul get this from? Let's look at Leviticus. Let's look at 18:22. Let's go to Leviticus 18:22 and let's see where did Paul get this from, some of this from there. 18:22, because I told you Paul speaks nothing but law. 18:22, it says, thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind, it is an abomination. So we know Paul, that's what Paul's thoughts. That's where he pulled that from. But it's not just from there. Let's look at another part right here. We got to also go to 20 in verse 13. These here you can also put in your precepts in your in your book to where you might write them in your Bible, but this is literally where Paul pulling his stuff from. This is technically what I'm showing you. So we're gonna look at 20 and 13. It says, if any man lie with mankind as he lie with woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They both shall surely be put to death. Their life shall be upon them. That's what that blood is. So we find that. So that's how we see that. So we see now that where Paul pulled that from. Now we understand where Paul got that from. But this ain't the only one. Paul got 32 verses. So we got to see, where did Paul pull this stuff from? Where did he get this stuff from? Let's look at Romans. Let's look at 1 and 7. Where did Paul pull this from? So let's look at another one. Romans 1 and 7. And it says, to all that are in Rome, beloved of God, called to be saints, grace to you and peace from our God, our Father, and the Lord Yahweh Shai Messiah. Where did Paul get that from? That's more of a trip, ain't it? Well, I'm telling you, Paul is a master at doing this. But he, just like I said, Paul rarely, and I used to tell my class in the back, Paul uses his words so rarely, he's pulling everything from the Bible. But Paul got that salutation from somewhere. Where? Before I even pull it, let's see, do any people, before I put any more up there, let's see, do we have anyone with any guesses where Paul may have pulled that from? So if I have people on YouTube and I have people in the back, and if you know where Paul pulling that from, either raise your hand or put it in the chat area on YouTube, and I'll give a couple of minutes and we'll see where people got it. So we'll take a couple to see, are we all on the same page? So right now I don't see anyone, I don't see no hands over there, because this is a salutation just of Paul. So where did Paul get that thought from? And I see no one so far. No one over here, no one in there, no one look like want to take a shot. And we got one. What verse? Okay, I don't get what you're saying. What verse? I'm asking you, Romans 1:7, where did Paul get that from? And I have Brenda guessing Numbers 6:25. And I'm going to tell you, you're a bad girl. All you had to do is add one more verse to it. 6:25 and 26. That's actually where it came from. So let's put that there. I do appreciate you, Brenda. So let me put this up 1 second, and that's right where it came from. So you're all right. So let's put this there, and we're gonna put in Numbers, and it's 6:25 and 26. Let's read it. Let's read that, and let's see what that says, and let's see where Paul got that from. It says, "The Lord make his face shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee, and the Lord lift up his countenance upon thee, and give thee peace." That's what Paul actually pulled that from, and he just kind of tweaked it to his little flavor, but that's what Paul pulled it from. But very good, Brenda. That's Brenda. Very good. So we're going to look at another one, and we're going to see what this is saying. And we're going to go to Romans, and we're going to look at 1:23. and we need to see what this is saying. We need to see what this is saying and see where they came from. So it says, and change the glory of the corruptible God into an image made to a corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. So where did Paul get this from? Anyone? Anyone? Let me see. I got a question. I got a quote in the back. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. No, that wasn't it. Yeah. See. Okay. Yeah. The only difference here, where you using for Lyman, see, you using the same quote. That's still Paul talking. Paul pulling this from the law. So if he pulled it from the law, he pulled it from somewhere, and he's pulling it from the law. He's not pulling it from himself. And we have one person, they're using Jeremiah for 123. No, good guess. They're using Jeremiah 2:11. Actually, that's a good guess though. That's a very good guess. But no, that's not it. Not sure. Oh, come on, Brenda. You did the first one really good. So let's see where this came from. Let's see where it came from. I have no one in the back. And not sure. Yeah, but the first one was really good. I really like that. Everyone see me get a big head. People learn, that gives me a big head, because that lets me know. Oh, wait a minute, hold it. I see someone. I see it makes other people. It makes it harder for people to fool you. So I got two people in the back, and so I'm gonna let Sister Clark go first, and then I'm gonna have Sister Pittman.
I would say Psalms 106:20.
106:20. Good verse, but no, not it. Wait a minute, I moved you automatically. Wait a minute. And lower hand, and Sister Sharon.
Yes. Hello, Elder.
How you doing? How you doing, sister?
Okay. I'm going to take a stab at this at Exodus 20, chapter 20, verse 4.
Verse 4.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images or likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water underneath the earth.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm gonna tell you, you right at it, and most people run there, and I'm gonna tell you something.
Yes, sir.
That got me. When Dr. Shaw and them pulled this on us, I'm gonna tell you, I ran over there, and I got caught up. But I see in here, Deacon D. Frost, he actually got it, but he should have went one verse back and should have went all the way over to verse 19. But he actually got it. But yeah, but me and you, we still good. I still say that was it. But when you look at the way Paul structured it, that's how you can catch it, where it comes right from Deuteronomy. And
okay.
Yeah, it comes from Deuteronomy. But yeah, me and you did the same thing. But that's all right. Because I still thought that was a good one. But once you look at how you see 23 is structured, then you can actually see exactly where he pulled it from. So let me put this back up. 1 second. Let me put that back up. And that's one of my deacons there. He actually got it. But the main thing is Deuteronomy, and the one that you want is Deuteronomy 4:15 through 19. So, but let's go over there. Let's see. But he actually got it. So he got it all the way through there. So it says, and he using 4:16. So it says, take therefore good heed unto yourself, for ye saw no manner of similitude. So that was the key. So we didn't see no manner of similitude. We seen nothing that we need to be matching it to. That's all he was saying. So the one day that the Lord spake unto you in a herb out of the midst of the fire. So now this is what Deacon DeFrost actually did. He said, least not corrupt yourself and make any graven images. And then it's saying the similitude of any figure and likeness of male or female. That's how he popped it. So that was extremely good. But he's a bad man anyway. So I already figured he would have. So I can see that. But then you take it all the way down. So now he just gave you clarification from 17 down. In the likeness of any beast in the earth, in the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air, in the likeness of anything that creepeth upon the ground. So now he's just telling you all what those are doing. And we have one person, and let's see. So that's how you take care of that. And now we sit there and we took care of that one. We have one little idioto come in. So the main thing is how that's done. But what that does, that gives you all the clarification on what's happening. So that was good, and then do he still have it right? Yeah, he still have it right, because he hit the main part. So he was still right. So that makes it still completely right, but then what we do, we just do the explanation to show you to prove the point. So now with the one more, and what we're going to show is one more, and then I'm going to have a couple of other ones, which I want you to actually find. And we're going to go to Romans, and we're going to look at Romans 1:17. And let's look at that. Romans 1:17. And it says, for therein is righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith, as it is written. So he's already, see, Paul telling you right up front, as it is written, in the just shall live by. So again, anyone that can pull that one. Anyone? And let me see. Do we have anyone want to take a shot at that one? And we have one, actually, that's right where it came from. So that's good. So that's David. So we have that one. And that's using Habakkuk, that's right, and that's 2 and 4. Let's look at it, and let's take a look at it. So we have other places where he's talking, but we'll see what Paul actually pulling this from. So it says, behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. So that's where he's pulling that from. So that's a good pull. And that still will actually come out as right, no matter what. That will come out as right. So that was good on him. Now, is there any other that anyone have on that one? Any other one? Because there's one that's in the law where Paul pulled it from. Is one that's in the law that Paul pulled that from. Deuteronomy 25:15. Let's look at that. Deuteronomy 25:15. And let's see what you have. So 25:15. And it says, but thou shalt be perfect in just weight, a perfect and just measure thou shalt have, and thy days may be lengthened in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. That's very good, because that is one of them. There's one more that actually kind of explains it more specifically, but still on the technical term, you are correct. So we will actually put that there because you are right there at it, which is good. And you use Deuteronomy 25, verse 15. And there's one more. And actually, I'm going to let you know, it's right there actually in Deuteronomy. And let's go over. I have to go over to, actually, I got to come out of here to actually click on them. And we have Sister Pittman. She want to give it another shot. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Elder, I'm looking at Deuteronomy 8 and 3.
8 and 3. Okay. Now you did that. You already had your hand up before I already went there. And it says, and he humbled himself, and he humbled thee, and suffered thee the hunger, and feed thee with manna, which thou knowest not, neither thy fathers knew, that he made thee know that the man doeth not live by bread alone, but every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord doeth man live. Boy, y'all ain't making no fun for me. Y'all kind of jacking me up today. That's okay. That's okay. Good one, but you got it. So we're good. So we are good. So we got this all. So that's actually where those came from. That's where Paul poured it from. So Sister Pittman, she nailed it to the cross, as well as Brother Micah and Brother David. So we have these people that poured it. Very good. Now, we have a couple of other ones, which if you are assigned and you already joined to the King James Bible University, I have these already posted. So if you go over to your class and you see lesson 13, you actually see the answer to these. So I'm going to put them in there, but you can answer them first for yourself and see if you'll get it. That's what I would do first. So we want to see 116. We got 6. And we got 120. 7. And then we have 122. And 8. $25. Now the answers, as I said, the answers are already. Oh shoot! I'll show it to you. Let me put them up there. Let me put them up there. I'm sorry. I thought it was up. So this is already up. So we're looking for those, but I'm asking people, if you're already part of the King James Bible University classes or the Precept Mastery classes, this document is already over there to where you go down to lesson 13 and you'll see the document already there. And it has the answers to it. But my thing I'm asking you is before you pull the document, because it's already there for you. So before you pull the document, try to see if you get it. You can see people can get it. They understand what is happening. So you can easily pull it. So we want to see where's Paul pulling this stuff from. So that's what I'm asking. So some gonna go over there and just get it just to know it, but some gonna go over there and wait, just wait later on in the day and whatever, and then go over there, log in, go to Paul, to the teachings of Paul, because you're already in the class, and then you can go down. All you do is scroll down to lesson 13 and you document right there, you can download it. And it gives you the answer to those. So it's not nothing hid from you to where you have to wait later on in the week. Because I said, like I told you, they made a lot of the stuff simpler for you to where I can put stuff up real simple and the documents are already there for you. So you can actually do that. So with that, we're going to end up stopping here because we got to come back with that overview and we're going to do a whole entire thing on a precept on that. And then we're going to kick into chapter 2 and get completely into that. And we're going to go through it. So right now, what I do want to do, I want to make sure that if anybody have any other questions, they are more than welcome to where if you have a question concerning this lesson or going through or what's proceeding from that, you can either post it in the chat on YouTube or put your hand up, I can bring you up, or you can post your question in the question and answer. So, because if not, other than that, we will get ready to go out. But hopefully this will clarify a lot of stuff for a lot of people basically what Paul was talking about in the first chapter, because we're going to do a whole overview on chapter 1. We're going to do an entire overview on it, and we're going to put the precepts in there to show you on the preceptor. So far, we don't have anything or anyone on there. Okay, but the main thing what I still want to make sure of, I do have a couple of people. If you signed up for the class over at KJBU and you hit the registration and you filled it out and you did not put an email, you're not going to get an email back, because that's the only way you can get the class. 2, if you're using invented names, I can tell you right now, again, they're not going to assign you to anything, because we want to make sure who we're dealing with. So make sure that that's there. So with everybody else, I do appreciate. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys. And actually, yeah, that's Sister Brenda. Yeah, you guys did some good work. Good work. So study, and same thing. You studying to show yourself approved, and what's gonna shock you, you're gonna get stronger than you really know. It's gonna really shock you on a lot of stuff you're gonna find out as you're going through this, to the more you're gonna be knowing. So the same thing is, if you haven't had a chance, and if some of you guys, I know some of you guys purchased your books kind of late and you already signed to the class, just go inside KJBU, click on your class, and you can actually look at each one of the lessons, and you can actually go right back along and you can fill your book up to where you have those precepts there. Those precepts are there for you. And it's not something where, you got to spend $300, $450 to get these precepts. I'm still waiting for the link to the preceptor I sent to you. Okay, I'll tell you what, and they taking care of that. So I tell you what you do. And you want the link to the precept. Oh, I'll tell you what, I believe we sent that preceptor to you. But I'll tell you what, the best thing to do. Send me the email, or I'm gonna look for it. And what I do, I'm gonna just directly send you that link, the link to it. So that's what we're gonna make sure of. So with that, we'll take care of everything else from there, and we'll be able to crank out from there. So with that, anybody who want to, get the answers, go through your studies and look at those things, and then from there, what we'll do is go through, you'll look at those and you'll see what those answers are, but then see how close you came to it. That's what I'm saying. Just do it that other way and see how close you came to it. So with that, I appreciate you guys. And so until this Wednesday, we'll be going through our first Israelite weekly study. So until then, I bid to each and every person to have a beautiful rest of your day and beautiful rest of the week. So until then, I bid everybody a shalom.